Call the Owatonna City Council meeting to order for Monday, August 4th, 2014. May we have roll call?
Councilmember Schultz.
Here.
Burbank.
Here.
Rainey.
Here.
Svenby. Trilson.
Here.
Dodson.
Here.
Abraham.
Here.
Mayor Kuntz.
Here.
We have 6 of the council and the mayor present.
Thank you. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag, United States of America, or the republic for which it stands, one nation, God, visible, liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everyone here on this exciting occasion for the first time that we've ever been able to do this. So I think you'll have to bear with us a little bit to make it happen good. So with that, we have no changes or additions to the agenda, so we'll look for a motion to approve as presented.
So moved.
Motion by Greg Schultz to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Nate Dotson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Moving down to the financial report, we'll ask Greg Schultz to read the financial report.
Okay, here's a recap of checks issued over $20,000. $133,878 to Asphalt Technologies for crack sealing. $111,167 to Crane Creek Asphalt for 2014 street and utility projects. $20,663 to Crane Creek Asphalt for hot mix. $34,297 to D&M Construction for the Brook Tree patio, which came out of the Umbrellas funding. $24,266 to Mansfield Oil Company for fuel purchases. $40,000 to Oakview Nursery for the Brook Tree patio, which came out of the Umbrellas funding. $26,626 to Owatonna Area Chamber of Commerce, which was lodging tax. $24,577 to Owatonna Ford Chrysler for a Ford Escape for the Building Inspection Department. $34,723 to Ritter and Ritter, Inc. for sanitary sewer lining. $27,755 to Wenzel Construction to clean a MnDOT ravine. $30,924 to Coca-Cola Refreshments, which is a tax increment financing payment. Other expenditures of $312,821 for a subtotal of $821,701. To that, we add the Section 8 payments of $56,277 for total expenditures presented for approval of $877,978.
Thank you. What is the council's wishes on this?
Motion to pay the bills.
We have a motion by Kevin Rainey to pay the bills. Do you have a second to that?
Second.
I'll second it.
Okay, we'll take Raymond as a second on this one. And any further discussion there? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. We'll move down to consent agenda items, which are license permits, board commission minutes, department reports, event permits, etc., all grouped into one motion. And what is the council's wishes?
Motion we approve.
We have a motion by Nate Dotson to approve. Do we have a second to that?
Second.
Second by Kevin Rainey. All those, any further discussion on this? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved also. Moving down to action items, we got 3.2 is a contract agreement, lease agreement with Rice Steel County 911 Center, and this will go to Chris.
Thank you, Les. As you know, the City Council reviewed the proposed terms to renew the lease with the 911 Center at our July 15th study session. I have attached a copy of the lease prepared by our City Attorney, Mark Walbrand. As you know, the city jointly owns the building with Steele County. Tom Shea has also shared this lease terms with the County Board of Supervisors, and they have indicated support of the language as stated. I believe they will be looking at this on their next agenda, and it will be an item for consideration at the Joint Powers Board. Since we recently sent them the lease terms, I believe the Joint Powers Board would likely take action at their following meeting in September. As you know, the lease proposes an increase from the current $8.29 per square foot to $9.69 in the first year, $11.09 in the second year, and $12.50 in the third year. Thereafter, it would be tied to the CPI and adjusted annually. We would also share equally in the cost of a new generator between the city, the county, and the 911 center. Estimated cost of that is about $147,000. There is a significant amount of electrical improvements required at the LEC, and this would be shared equally between Steele County and the City of Owatonna. Estimated cost about $200,000 to be split. Staff would recommend approval of the lease as outlined.
Thank you, Chris. Any questions from the council?
Les, I have a question.
Yes.
Question on the utilities. It says three-way split. Does that mean they're going to divide it equally by three parties, or are they going to run new services to the 911 center?
As a part of the electrical improvements, there would be a sub-metering of the individual areas allowed now. With all of those electrical upgrades, we can sub-meter those areas.
What about water, sewer, and gas?
That I'd have to check into. Not sure.
Because I have a question on the sewer. Sewer is very costly to do. That would be very costly to do. But I think there should be some adjustment where the 911 center is open 24/7, and we're only open 9-10 hours at the law enforcement center. The other thing is, we own the building and we pay the utilities that the Steele County Law Enforcement Center should pay a share of those utilities separate. Not part of the lease, because right now we're not charging them nothing for the utilities, the Steele County Sheriff's Department of that building.
And the lease does provide that the 911 center would pay their proportionate share of the utilities, including gas, water, and electric. So.
And what, the other part, you're going to divide it equally then by two then? Is that the problem with the other building divided by two, or the rest of the building where the law enforcement center is, that building? What do you, I see you say nothing extra for Steele County in that part of the building for the sewer, water, and gas, electrical.
So this lease simply addresses the arrangement between the landlord, which is the city and the county, and the 911 center. So we may have a separate agreement with the county regarding utilities, but that's not addressed.
So we have a separate agreement between them on the utilities that you're saying?
Yeah, I guess that would be something to be determined at a future date.
Well,
What we're dealing with here tonight is simply as landlords and with the 911 center.
Yeah, but they'd have a big, they're going to pay 1/3 of utilities then, the 911 center then.
Yes.
Well, I'd like that be addressed, part of the going out of that meeting to the county, part of the utilities on that building.
I understand that this lease agreement, Raymond, is that 33 is
Yeah.
it's on the generator, rewiring everything, setting it up, putting in separate services to each entity, and then billing accordingly after that to the entities. That's my understanding on this right now.
Well, I need to visit a little more on that, I think.
Okay.
Because what I'm saying is, the other part of the building Still County should be paying extra for gas, water, and sewer too, not just electrical.
Okay. We can address that with the county on that.
That would be
part.
a separate
Yes,
item. Yep.
Just so we don't get lost, is what I'm saying.
I understand. Rick.
911 board's been working on this for a long time, so.
Question that I've got, Chris, is we approved this based on this contract right here. If there's changes from the county, how do we go back and address those?
If there's any changes, we'd have to simply bring it back to council
Okay,
for approval.
okay. So
Yeah.
it's based on what we've got presented to us right
Exactly.
now.
Yep.
Okay. You have any questions with that, Raymond?
No, I don't.
Okay. Any questions from the rest of the council?
Motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion by Greg Schultz to approve this agreement. Do we have a second to that?
Second.
Second by Nate Dotson. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Hey,
Opposed? This has been approved to present to the county. With that, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda is ordinance, second reading of proposed ordinance 514 vacancy property or vacant property registration. And we'll go to Chris.
Thank you, Les. I would request that the council table this item. The city attorney and myself, along with the fire chief, have not had sufficient time to address the necessary changes.
Okay, so you're looking for a motion to table until you have all the information ready to present.
That is correct.
What is the council's wishes?
So moved.
Motion to table until the information is ready to present. Do we have a second to that?
I'll second that.
Second by Raymond Schultzen. This is an ordinance. We'll go by roll call. And with that,
Councilman,
No, just to table, just to table.
just a table, but it's an ordinance.
but you only need a
Motion to table.
Okay.
Just a motion to table, so you
Okay,
just...
so we have a motion and a second to table. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It has been tabled until we have the information available from staff. With that, we'll move on to resolutions 4114, election judge, primary election, August 12th. Chris?
Yes. The Secretary of State requires the appointment of election judges before Election Day. This resolution accomplishes that as recommended by the Secretary of State and authorizes the Assistant City Clerk to assign election judge substitutes if needed. Our budget and impact is we will have 5 workers per polling site. Typically, it's a very low turnout with a primary election. Head judges earn about $11 per hour, and election judges are paid $10 an hour. So staff would recommend approval.
Thank you, Chris. Any questions from the council?
So move we approve.
What's that, Raymond?
So move we approve.
We have a motion by Raymond to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave Burbank. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 This has been approved also. Resolution 43-14, three-quarter access at Brady Boulevard on County Road 2, Hoffman Drive, and we'll go to, no, I missed one here, I'm sorry.
General.
4214, sale of general obligation bonds, Series A 2014, and we'll go to Doug and Rhonda.
Previously, you had authorized us to enter into a contract with Springstead for the sale of bonds, and this morning they solicited proposals on those bonds, and we have Doug Green from Springstead here to go over the results.
Thank you, Rhonda.
Yes, thank you.
I'll wait till those get around.
Everybody got one here?
Do you have enough for everybody?
There more?
He's got enough.
Yeah, you're good.
Thank you, Doug. Any questions from the council?
Good job.
Thank you. Good, very good job.
Great job.
Thank you. With that, Chair will entertain a motion.
So moved.
We have a motion by Raymond to approve the sale or the resolution 42-14. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Kevin Rainey. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I'm sorry,
That was Raymond.
Raymond said aye.
Raymond said aye.
delay
Oh, okay. That's what I was hearing, so. Now, moving on to 4314, which I jumped to. Three-quarter access at Brady Boulevard on County Road 2, Hoffman Drive. And with that, we'll go to, start with Troy. Oh, it's Kyle.
I'll take that one. Good evening. The reconstruction of Hoffman Drive is proposed to occur in 2015 between I-35 and State Avenue. The existing access to Brady Boulevard, which is on the north, is currently only a right-in. This resolution is requesting that it's a little complicated. It's actually MnDOT reconstructing the road and turning it back to Steele County, but requesting that Steele County allow a three-quarter access, which would be right in, right out, and then a left turn into the Brady Boulevard. The area is planned for development and redevelopment, and I'll let Troy add what future plans are for the area.
Well, as you know, this area has been sort of on the docket for redevelopment for quite some time. That's sort of what spearheaded the State Avenue extension through that area, the improvements we did on 12th Avenue last year, and now we're at the point where we're working with MnDOT on getting Hoffman Drive now reconstructed as part of that turnback agreement. And this is a good time, with that being reconstructed, to address any access issues that we want at this point in time. And so we've done some planning out there. We do have some interest in doing some redevelopment, but again, the thing that we hear most about is getting access to it from the interstate is quite difficult. You got to come all the way down to State Avenue, go through a lighted intersection, head north, and then come back around here. So we felt this was a good time to address this with a three-quarters access. So it's taken away probably the most dangerous turn would be that left turn out of Brady and going on to Hoffman Drive. So we're not recommending that at all. We're looking at getting vehicle traffic in there and out of there if they're heading back to the interstate very conveniently. And so the county plays a role in this because it is going to be turned back to the county. So the MnDOT is working with the county on their access management policies. This does not meet their setback requirements off of State Avenue. So we started that discussion with them, and they first recommended that we would need some sort of recommendation or approval from the council that this is something that they want to see. So that's why this is being presented to you at this point in time.
So basically what you're saying is that the eastbound traffic would be crossing westbound traffic to go north on Brady.
Eastbound traffic would not, correct?
Yes.
Would not be crossing.
It would be crossing the westbound traffic.
Eastbound, right, so as you're coming off the interstate heading eastbound into town on Hoffman, you would be able to take a left then onto Brady Boulevard. So eastbound traffic taking a left, crossing westbound traffic on Hoffman Drive. That would not be the same case as exiting, though. We would not allow
Eastbound traffic or southbound traffic to cross.
make a left turn onto Hoffman Drive. And then westbound traffic could take a right in or a right out, would have a right in, right out onto Brady.
Okay. Any other questions from the council?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Greg Schultz to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Nate Dotson. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Moving on to 3.5.4, Resolution 4414, yield sign at intersection of Bridge Street and West Park Square. And this will go to Kyle again.
Good evening. Downtown Parking Committee brought this to our attention that there is not currently a yield or stop sign on eastbound traffic on Bridge Street as it approaches Park Square, and it creates a little bit of confusion there, and recommended a yield sign be placed. And I did take a look at it, and I agree that yield sign was appropriate. Yield signs are enforceable, so we're bringing the resolution to you for consideration, and we do recommend approval.
Thank you, Kyle. Any questions from council? Greg?
I believe the same situation is on Broadway in West Park Square. There's not a yield sign there either.
I'll check that. I thought there was one there, but
I could be wrong. I just,
I'll
I
take a
don't
look.
recall seeing one there.
I'm thinking there isn't also, but if there isn't, I would almost like to include that as part of this to state that there should be one there.
so should we say on Bridge and
Broadway.
Broadway?
Bridge and Broadway.
Bridge and Broadway, yes.
We can have multiple resolutions approving the sign. There's probably not one in the past anyway, so.
Well, I would.
It would confirm the yield sign if it is already there, is what I'm saying.
Hey, Les,
Yes,
I got a question.
yes.
Why would you even bother with yield? You know, yield gives you the right to turn. Why don't we go with a stop sign instead of a yield? I guess I'm not a fan of yield signs. There've been more accidents with yield than there ever been, you know. I think we should consider stop sometime instead of yield signs.
Kyle, you want to?
We did not go through the warrants for the stop sign, so we would have to
You would have to go through that process.
evaluate the stop sign.
That's sometime I think we should consider, I guess, you know.
That's something to consider, and I would recommend that we maybe look at that, but we can't address that tonight, can we?
All right, okay.
No, we could certainly do the warrants on the stop sign there.
What is
Or we
council's
could start
wishes?
with a yield sign.
Motion to approve.
Okay, do you want to include Broadway?
If it's not there, I think it should be.
Okay.
That'd be
And,
consistent.
and if, as Raymond is saying, begin the warrants or the research?
Well, my initial reaction is, let's do the yield and see how things go.
Okay, okay. We'll start with that.
I would agree with Greg. A yield is better than what we've got now, and I think that that alone will take care of the
That's a
problem.
second to the motion.
And that's a second to the motion.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved also. Moving down to 3.61, approval of staff assistance at the Owatonna Community Center Initiative, and that will go to Chris.
Thank you. Council met with the members of the Owatonna Community Center Initiative on July 15th. The committee presented their plans for a new community center and the issues that it would address in the community. They discussed the process used to date to document the community's needs and funding recommendations. They also requested the City of Owatonna involvement to help resolve some operational questions of the center. As this initiative does fall under a key focus area of the city's strategic plan, quality of life, the consensus of the council was to instruct staff to assist the group in further consideration of the community center plan. Recommendation would be to authorize city staff, necessary city staff, to assist the community center initiative in an advisory capacity regarding operational questions and issues for the proposed community center facility.
Thank you, Chris. Questions from the council?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Kevin Rainey to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Raymond. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Good luck with this and thank you. The next item on the agenda is 3.52, sale of property at 303 Middle Springs Road, the former Quick Trip property, and that will go to Troy.
Okay, the city council did approve a resolution accepting that donation of property to the city. We have taken over the property as of last Friday. ever since we just began discussions with Quick Trip about that donation, which actually went back into last year a bit, any inquiries into that property or anyone having interest in that property, Quick Trip did refer those people to talk to me. And so over, a 6 to 8 month process here, I've been talking with different groups about their interests in purchasing that property. So as we've been ongoing with this donation, we've been talking about sales of that property. And so it's been multiple parties, it's not been just one, and so I didn't feel it was fair to single out any single party to negotiate anything. And so all my discussions have been, once the property has been officially transferred to the city, we will entertain any offers at that time. So as of last Friday, and all my discussions up to last Friday have been, looks like the property is going to be transferred on Friday. Please get me your highest and best offer so that once the property is in the city's hands, we can entertain those offers. And so as of last Friday, 5 o'clock, I do have 4 written offers for the property. Now, in talking with Mark Walbrand, we feel that although in my discussions with them, they were aware of sort of a time frame we were looking at. The council did express an interest in turning this property around right away. It was not made aware to the public as to having a timeline as to when we would be selling this property. And so with Mark Walbrand's recommendation, I think we're proposing that we would keep the time frame open to accept offers for the property into next week, like another week's worth of time here. And it probably makes sense to put at least one ad in the paper just notifying everybody that we will be accepting offers for the property, and we can set a deadline, whether it's a week from today. I think a 1 week's time. Again, we want to turn this around very quickly, and we do have 4 written offers on the property already, but that would allow anyone that may have considered that property do notice that, hey, we are going to be acting on this fairly quickly. If you have any interest, please get an offer in to me, to whatever date we want to set for that. And then I think that would give everyone proper notice. We do want the offers to be based on selling the property as is, without conditions, and that will level the playing field for everybody, and then we can basically compare apples to apples on the price. Okay. So that would be our recommendation, would be, and again, you can discuss on what sort of time frame you want to leave that open for, but we should have a definite time and date, that we'll be taking offers to, in which case we'll close that off so that we may act on it at the next council meeting on the 19th.
Thank you. Any questions from the council?
Do we need to set a date and time now?
I would say publicly, if we did it here, I think that would be good to set that now, and then we would put an advertisement in the paper stating that as well.
Do you have a recommendation of a?
Well, I would say, if we're looking at a full week's time, we're into probably Tuesday morning of next week, a 10 o'clock time Tuesday morning would be one option. But I mean, it's certainly up to you on what date you want and time you want to set.
Maybe 13th or 14th, we could probably publish, right? Have it published? Or, I'm sorry.
Today's only the 4th, so you can try to get it published the 5th or the 6th, or the 6th rather, the 6th or the 7th. Perhaps say the 14th
to receive bids.
14th at 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock on the 14th, and to open the bids at...
Well, it's not a bid opening, it's just getting offers in by that time.
Okay. And then we would open the offers at 4 o'clock or 4:30?
Well, I have 4 now, so it's a matter of just getting them to me by the 4th, and I'm willing to answer any questions anybody might have during that time. I do have keys to the property. I can show the property as well, and just getting those offers to me by, if we're saying 4 o'clock on the 14th. So then we can evaluate them and we can present then to the council and the staff report, what the highest bid was.
Okay.
We need a resolution for that, or?
I have a question.
Kevin?
Are we going to base our decision solely on the highest bid? Or are we going to look at, I would rather take a little bit less money with someone that's going to upgrade the exterior of the facility as opposed to 20 years from now, it's going to still look like a used Quick Trip.
Go ahead.
If I may?
Mark?
Because this sale does not come under the competitive bidding law, the city does have discretion to determine what sale is in the best interest of the city. And so ultimately, the city council has the discretion to reject any and all bids and accept the bid that the city feels is in the best interest of the city.
So can we get some information in regards to what
I would say if we are looking at evaluating the individual projects, then we need to start a whole new process, because what we're asking now under that scenario would be a request for proposal. We have a piece of property that we want something done with it. We probably need to go through a request for proposal. We need to set criteria on how each of the requests will be evaluated, set up some guidelines, some time frames in all of that. It would be a much different process than we're talking about right now. So that would be something to consider.
You'd be a little more time involved at that, if you did it that way also.
Yeah, and I will say that those that are interested and have written offers would like to do something this summer. I mean, they would like to get it as soon as possible because they do have plans to make improvements and get a business up and running right away.
Okay.
So currently, the only restriction on the property is that it can't be a competitor to Quick Trip. And all the
There are some covenants on the property, the main one being that, they can't compete against Quick Trip.
And I guess at this point, I'd rather see us sell the building if we know we've got bidders that want to move in and get on it. I'd rather not sit on it and lengthen the process any longer than necessary.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
I'd like to move that we have it for that which was recommending for August bid. I'd make a motion for that.
Okay, we have a motion by Raymond to approve with the August 14th, 4 p.m. deadline for the offers. Do we have a second to that?
Second.
Second by Nate Dotson. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Good luck with it. Now with that, we'll move on to public comments. Anybody in the audience wish to speak, please come to the microphone and sign in. Seeing nobody running up there, I will move on to council comments, and we'll start with Greg.
Raymond, it's good to see you.
Thank you, Greg.
Not even in 2 dimension, it's good to see you. I just want to tell everybody have a good time at the fair next week, and it's a big ordeal in Owatonna, and let's have a good time.
Yes, thank you. Dave?
Yeah, you made history tonight, Raymond.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, same, see you at the fair.
Kevin?
Welcome back, Raymond. Missed you. Also, thank you to Tim, who's out there working with Raymond tonight. Appreciate his help in getting this done. Little belated happy birthday to our mayor. Found out that he had celebrated a birthday last week, so happy birthday, Mayor.
Thank you.
And everyone enjoy the fair.
Thank you. Nate?
Welcome back, Raymond, in this capacity. Enjoy the evening tomorrow night and enjoy the fair. I'll see you out there.
Thank you, Nate. Tom?
I had the privilege of attending the National League of Cities Summer Policy Forum, which was up in St. Paul last week. Some of the items of discussion were community and economic development, HUD's proposal, advocacy for lobbying, and tour of Union Station. Some of the issues on HUD is that if you're 50,000 or greater in your community, they're looking at making sure it's fair housing, and some of it is by wage incomes, and some of it's by racial equality. Dallas had some court cases going against them by HUD for some of their stuff. And one of the interesting things, tour of Union Station in St. Paul really had a lot of depressed buildings and stuff alongside of the Union Station. And some of those buildings was for sale for 5 or 6 years. Once the remodeled Union Station got it opened up to train traffic and everything, it's a booming area. So it's nice to see St. Paul alive and well.
Thank you, Tom. And Chris?
I have a few announcements. Just a reminder about Night to Unite tomorrow. Those council members who are able to, please meet at 5:15 tomorrow over at the LEC in the training room. The 2000 state primary election will be held next Tuesday. Polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And just a reminder that the city has 2 new polling sites. Ward 3, Precinct 2 will be voting at Emmanuel Lutheran Church on Jeffrey Street and not at the Armory. Ward 4, Precinct 2 will be voting at Steele County History Center and not at the Community Center. Candidate filing period is now open until Tuesday, August 12th. Coffee with the Council will be held Saturday, August 16th at the Aurora Dining Center there at the Steele County Fairgrounds, as we did last year. I believe we were going to start at 9 o'clock. Okay. Third and final movie in the park will be held on Friday, August 22nd. Movie is Yogi Bear, and will be playing after dusk in Central Park. And then just a little announcement, we have a new dog park, 1.6 acre off-leash dog park is now open at Lake Chase. It's located at 1915 State Avenue Northwest. Head on out with your furry friend for some exercise and have a good time. The rules are posted and are also available at the city's website. We will have a grand opening some date in the future. I just want to put a plug in for our Park and Rec staff who came up with, we've had many requests for a dog park, as Councilmember Burbank can attest, and it's never been able to be put in the budget, but this dog park, we're reusing some existing fence that we have to give us, a new amenity for our community at a very reasonable cost. So thanks to the Park and Rec staff. Thanks also to Tim O'Connor helping Councilmember Trulson, and also Ryan for setting up our end here, and hopefully this will be another opportunity, another avenue for us and council members in the future to have meetings. So that's all I had.
Thank you, Chris. And the dog park has been really used a lot this past weekend. With that, Raymond, welcome back, and look forward to seeing you again sitting here and not on the TV. Okay?
I got a couple comments.
Yes.
I got a comment, Les. Les, can I make a comment?
Yes, you can.
I'd like to just personally thank all the people for all the help, and my brother Rollins and his wife Ann and relatives, and just city staff and just the public in general. You wouldn't believe the cards and the people that have come to visit me, and from you, the council, and everybody, and I thank you very much for that. I guess the bottom line is, when you got friends, you got friends, and that's an important part of my life right now. So I'd also thank for all the prayers, to thank the people of Owatonna, and I will give back. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Raymond. And with that, Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So, motion by Kevin. Do you have a second?
Second.
Second by Greg Schultz. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.